Modern astrology often presents as a collection of magazine personality lists or literal weekly predictions. Dismissing the practice based on these fatalistic fortune-telling tropes overlooks the depth of the original system. The esoteric tradition functions as an ancient framework designed specifically to decode the nuances of human behavior. This system operates as a highly structured, symbolic language. This glowing sphere represents the natal chart wheel, a unified archetypal operating system built on predictable mathematical logic. Navigating this matrix requires an understanding of its strict behavioral grammar. This grammar is generated by three foundational overlapping rules that define the entire zodiac. Rule 1 establishes polarity, dividing the wheel into a fundamental binary pulse of alternating currents. The active polarity represents an outward radiating force, focused exclusively on external action. The alternating receptive polarity functions as an inward pulling force, centered on internal processing and absorption. Rule 2 introduces elements, subdividing the binary pulse into 4 distinct elemental data types. These elements serve as symbolic representations of deep psychological needs, mapping the drives for action, intellect, material reality, and emotion. Fire and air occupy the outward radiating active segments, while earth and water reside within the inward pulling receptive segments. These combined elemental drives determine the core motivation of an archetype, explaining why a specific sign acts as it does. Tracing 90-degree intersection lines across the elements identifies modalities, mapping how motivation is deployed. The cardinal modality is the spark that initiates a sequence. The fixed modality provides the anchor that sustains behavior. Finally, mutable nodes represent fluid flow, transitioning behavior into its next phase. Every zodiac sign functions as a specific equation, the unique intersection of a polarity, an element, and a modality. Leo's geometry is a stack of active polarity, the fire element, and fixed modality, creating a sustained, radiating identity. Capricorn uses a different set of inputs, combining receptive polarity, the earth element, and the cardinal modality, to produce a pragmatic initiator of material structure. These 12 signs emerge as the strict, logical outputs of a highly consistent behavioral matrix. These archetypes interact across the wheel simultaneously to form complex network connections called aspects. Trines connect shared elemental types, serving as pathways of harmony and ease within the system. Squares and oppositions draw lines of extreme polarity and tension across the circle. While often associated with bad luck, these alignments represent necessary structural forces within the map. Oppositions and squares provide the essential architectural friction required to hold the system together and drive psychological growth. This geometric logic extends to how planetary bodies move through these sectors over time and how different wheels intersect to form a relational map. Using these interactions for deterministic predictions or fear-based warnings ignores the actual utility of the system. Transits act as shifting geometric relationships that map our ongoing internal development. Approaching the system as a fortune-telling tool strips the framework of its role as a mechanism for self-reflection. This symbolic language provides a precise, structured vocabulary for articulating internal shifts and emotional trends. The archetypal framework serves as an engineered geometry for observing the present human experience. Esoteric astrology is the mastery of this internal behavioral code, a mirror reflecting the architecture of the mind.